Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ. You are here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. Yes, I have a match for you today on North. I think that's the name of it. If I get the name of the map right, that's a small victory. Let's be honest. We're in the Cossack, not the Cossack 38. But the original Cossack, which I've labeled the worst premium destroyer in the game. That was until Wargaming introduced the French destroyers. It is North. Look at that. I'm getting better. I'm really not. Whatever ship was the fourth year of award. Cyclone, I think. Something like that. Anyway, that's the worst. But this is not far behind. The Cossack is terrible. But since we're in the pay-to-win era of wargaming, which is probably going to be the way it works from now on, I took out my wallet when I bought that commander last week. I also bought Sunaookami Shiroko. I'm part Japanese. You'd think I would know intrinsically as a part of my DNA how to pronounce those names properly. But I can't. It has one too many O's and it looks weird. So we'll just call her Shiroko. So I have Shiroko behind the wheel here. And Shiroko is a gunboat commander. Now, Britain didn't have a gunboat commander before. And as you know, in the beginning, there was light. Also in the beginning, when they introduced destroyers, usually each nation got two of the three destroyer commander archetypes. So the United States didn't get a torpedo boat commander, and then everybody bitched about it, and they gave them one known as Albert Gleaves. Before that, it was just Arleigh Burke and Bull Halsey. So if you have a large player base and you complain enough, you can get wargaming to do whatever you want. And if you don't have a large player base, like Britain, you have to pay 5,000 doubloons to get a gunboat commander. Can we get one for a torpedo commander for Russia now while we're at it? I would have paid for that. I'm dumb. I would pay 5,000 dubs for a Russian torpedo boat commander if it was any good. All right, so that's the appeal of Sunaookami Shiroko, is that she is a gunboat commander in a nation which didn't really have one. Now, they don't really have true gunboats, Cossack 38 aside. They're more middle-of-the-road ships, but because it is so gun-focused, here we're going to do a little Fred Astaire with these incoming torpedoes. That's a dancing reference to those of you who are under the age of 50. We're going to dodge those torpedoes, and then we're going to go, because we got a solo base cap, we're going to retreat tactically and go towards Bravo. While we're waiting to do our thing here, let me talk about Sunaookami Shiroko. See, I was pronouncing her name wrong. All right, row number one has observant. She has observant rage as an option. Row number two, she's got reaching out. Not reaching out XXL, just reaching out. So when maxed, minus 3% destroyer main battery reload time, plus 8% destroyer main battery range. Row three, we got a choice between twist and track, perceptive, and look at me now, which I did not choose. Look at me now. Row four's got this weird skill called aerial fire support. Minus 8% destroyer main battery reload time while detected by ship. It doesn't say by enemy ship, but I'm presuming it's by an enemy ship. It also says number of AA explosions when it's maxed. It says plus 200%. It means plus 2. What that does for you, I think, is absolutely nothing. And then her base trait, pinpoint, when fully maxed, plus 1.20 degrees destroyer gun traverse speed, minus 4% destroyer main battery reload time. Why did I talk about all that? Because we're about to get into a gunfight. First, the Akizuki's over here. He threw up a smoke screen, so I'm going to throw up some torpedoes. We did the regular spread instead of the tube by tube because I'm just trying to get him off target here. He's still in that smoke screen, but he's shooting and he's spotted by me. And so we are going to shoot at him really briefly because he can't see me, but I can see him, kind of deal. All right, so we were going to shoot one more time. We did. And then all of a sudden I'm spotted. Well, I'm not spotted by him. I'm like, how can he see me? There's a rock in the way. Oh, there we go. I'm spotted by the other destroyer I was doing battle with. Meanwhile, one of my torpedoes hit Akizuki and he is flooding. Achilles comes back in. Achilles gives me the full broadside. Achilles is getting lit up. And remember, you got 3 twin turrets here, plus a secondary battery. So Achilles is just doing everything wrong. We get a dev strike on the Akizuki and finish off the Achilles for the double strike. And we got, dev strike on the Akizuki, double strike when we finish off Achilles. All right, we see the Iowa. He's probably going to be dead, but I'm just going to launch a couple of torpedoes over that way just to make sure that if he is not killed, that we can kill him. I'm going to leave my smoke screen because I don't need it anymore. We got Leon out there and looking around, making sure it appears all the enemy battleships and cruisers that are remaining are on this side of the map. So I'm going to the port side of my ship, pardon me, or starboard. Sorry. All right. Easy way to remember that. Left and port both have 4 letters, even though I just forgot. And starboard has more than 4 letters, just like the word right has more than 4 letters. All right, we launched torpedoes at the Iowa, and we're going to move out of the cap. And it wasn't ideal, our launch angle or whatever. We were just trying to get him offline. Here, I'm going to run into the island, so I change course really quickly because I do not want to do that. But we've done our job. We got 2 solo base caps and we killed both enemy destroyers. So everything from here on out is just called gravy. All right, so the Iowa has changed the heading of the ship, and we're working on a torpedo reload. And so I am going to predict the future path of the Iowa, which is very similar to the path that's on right now. And I'm going to launch all 4 tubes one by one in a very close spread to see what happens. I want to maintain my distance from the Iowa. As you can see, it appears our detection is 5.4 kilometers. I do have a double concealment build going on, but I do not have the max concealment for this destroyer with this build. All right, here come my torpedoes. One of my teammates was like, get back, and I was like, fuck you. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's shoot a couple of times because we want to finish them off. We do finish them off. That is our 3rd kill. All right, so at this point, we have just put our team up by 1 ship. We have about a 150-point lead, maybe a little bit more than that. We have 3 ships that have been killed. The red team has 4 ships that have been killed. And I say to myself, depending on the location of these other enemy ships, I could go hunting for a kill, or I could get that 3rd solo base cap. All right, Cruiser is coming into Bravo. I am going to give him a lot of room and encourage my teammates to shoot at him because he would rip me apart and send me to the bottom of the ocean with a quickness. Leon is still out of torpedo range. So I'm like, hey, let's hit the speed boost. Let's go try to get that 3rd solo base cap. Toulon. Still shooting at Toulon, or my teammates are. Leon is, I don't know. He's driving like Dickie V would call a dipsy-do. He's doing a dipsy-do dunkaroo out there in a ship. For some reason, the red team seems really, I don't know, bent on locking down those islands over there, which don't have anything to do with the map, strategy-wise. Whatever. Leon is still turning, so I'm going to hold my fire and just continue speeding towards the cap. The good thing is this engine boost is rather long running. So even though it's been running a while, it's still running. We've got about 45 seconds left. All right, Leon still not at a great angle. I want him to be broadside before I launch. He's not going to give me that. So we're going to hold our fire a little bit because I don't want him thinking about me. I want him thinking about the other ships out here on the board for the blue team and not me. And his turrets don't even appear to be pointing towards the enemy ships. So I really have to wonder what he is doing. You know, but he is not, clearly he's maneuvering his ship, so he's not dawdling around, you know. All right, we enter Alpha. There's another red battleship, and it's pretty much too far away. Leon starts to moderate his heading, so he's actively playing. The other ship is behind an island, at least for now. So I'm going to try to get a good angle on Leon, but he's turning still. One would think my teammates would have just been blasting him to smithereens, but apparently that did not happen. All right, so I'm going to start doing S-turns in here to try to get a better angle. I thought he was going to run away back to the corner of the map. So we're going to launch here, again, a really tight spread. And then we're going to immediately turn back around and go the other way. Zaitin, he is out there and he is still alive, but he is not my concern. Wichita is definitely my concern. There is our third solo base cap. Ladies and gentlemen, we could get a destroyer hat trick in the original Cossack. That's terrifying indictment of the skill level of the red team, not of the power of the Cossack. Because as you guys know, I think it's absolute garbage. But I mean, hey, with a 5,000 dub commander behind the wheel, maybe it's not absolute garbage. All right, Leon dodged all my torpedoes, so I mean, he doesn't appear like he's doing a lot, but he is still playing. All right, so I'm going to evacuate the cap while I'm waiting for my reload. Just simply put, it is not worth getting any closer. We're about 1 kilometer away. And I'm going to turn and launch a little bit here. And I'm doing, again, a very tight spread because I want to force him to turn one way or the other. And we'll see how effective that is. Again, he is shooting now. I just have no idea what his plan is. If his strategy is to confuse the enemy, it's working. All right, so we're not going to shoot just yet until we see the outcome of our torpedoes, and I guess he maneuvered enough to where they're all going to miss. So I'm going to get my turrets lined up, and I am going to shoot here to reset the cap circle. All right, now because he detected me, we should be reloading quicker. There's some cap defendant flags. We set them on fire, and then I'm going to get another salvo out and turn away. Almost. Because we want to dodge. We don't have a lot of health left. So, ooh, we just got to hit there. We're under 3,000 hit points remaining. My teammates are shooting at him now, so I'm not going to shoot at him. But what I am going to do is I'm going to get some torpedoes out because we got to reload. And then I'm going to turn around here and start heading back towards Alpha because I want to get this kill. Right now we are up by 1 ship and we got 950 plus points. We are less than a minute left, so we're going to win this either way. We're going to win this on points, or we're going to get 1,000 points and win that way. So the Leon and his teammates, I mean, yes, one of our ships just got killed and reset us back to about 910 or 15 points. But the red team is not going to win. It's just a matter of how they're going to lose. My torpedoes look great. We're going to shoot at Leon here to try to distract him. But unfortunately for me, he managed to sail right through them. And we only get an assisted kill there. Wichita was still alive, but the match ends. And yeah, that was that. All right, here in the victory screen, we got a double strike and a devastating strike. 75,038 total damage. As mentioned, 3 kills, 3 solo base caps. We also had 4 cap defended flags and 5 torpedo strikes. We ended up with 663,809 silver, 9,900 ship XP, 10,500 commander XP in the Cossack with Sunaookami Shiroko. All right, let's look at the team results. Hello? All right, there we are at the top of the board. 2 medals, 3 big kills. Yes, it is a destroyer hat trick, 3,000 base XP. 3602 base XP. If you said to me, are you ever going to have a 3,600 plus base XP match in the Cossack, I would have said not just never, but never ever. But there it is, the destroyer hat trick, 3 kills, 3 solo base caps, and 3,000 plus base XP. All right, let's go back to the port and take a look at Sunaookami Shiroko. Base trait pinpoint, we already talked about that. Traverse speed and a little bit of reload time. We got that double concealment build going with Swirsky and Bay. Row 1 went with Observant Rage. Row 2, Reaching Out. Row 3, Twist and Track. And row 4, that weird skill. I can't remember the name of it right now, but we're going to get over to it in a minute, so I'll be able to talk about it. I'm just not how convinced that it actually does anything with this AA explosions, aerial fire support. I mean, whatever. But anyway, that's the video. That's the build. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button. Comment down below. Subscribe down below. Like down below. Tell me I'm right, tell me I'm wrong. But most importantly, try this commander out in another British ship that's a little bit better than the Cossack. Cossack 38, daring, probably better choices than this one. Anyway, see you next time, folks. Have a good one.